Hey, what's up guys? Chris here and we're back, baby. It's been 2 weeks since the last video and I was experiencing a little bit of burnout from the Final Fantasy Tactics event and spawning Whimsy shops, which we'll get into here in a bit. But now it's raid week, so a great detox from the Whimsy shop overdose, and we're back at it. And with this video, we're gonna get back into what this channel does best, advice for free-to-play and light spenders. So today we're going to look at my free-to-play account right on day 180, the 6-month mark, and just like the other account review videos, we'll talk about tips, tricks, and strategies and takeaways rather than just doing a show and tell. The last thing is that in the last 2 weeks, we did surpass 2,000 subscribers, and this is all thanks to you guys. We wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for the incredible support and community of viewers, so thank you very much. I've spent a good deal of time in the last 2 weeks coming up with new ideas and new videos to hopefully bring you guys the best War of the Visions content. Okay, let's get to the reason why you're here and jump like a dragoon right into it. First, let's start with an update that dropped in JP not too long ago, and you might have already seen this, but they're adding Azure, Gold, Silver, and Copper fragments to replace Rainbow fragments for lower rarity units. People have been wanting this forever because when you upgrade SR or MR units, you're actually pretty hesitant because they share the fragments with your UR units, so this is going to be a good change overall. So my advice would be to hold off on any awakenings for MR, SR, or rare units that require rainbow fragments, at least until we see how this is implemented and how many of these fragments they will actually be giving out. Save all of your rainbow fragments for UR units until we have more information. Next, let's drop into my units and we'll address one of the pieces of advice for free-to-play people that bothers me quite a bit, and that's to avoid limited time units. Now, I'm not going to call anyone out on Reddit or YouTube comments or anything like that, but there's quite a lot of people who say that free-to-play or light spenders should just avoid limited time units altogether. And I'm going to say this is entirely a myth, especially now that they've made changes to the Whimsy shop and made unit shards much more accessible during the events. Guys, limited time units are going to be the lifeblood of this game, since a lot of people are playing War of the Visions primarily for classic Final Fantasy units, so Gummy will make these units easier and easier to get. For example, the upcoming Final Fantasy IV event, Cecil is a guaranteed unit. As free-to-play or light spender, you can absolutely go for limited time units. I'll show my casual account here too, where I kind of accidentally got Delita and Orlando as well. The caveat is that if you want to go for limited time units, you just have to prepare properly. It requires a lot of willpower and planning to save up 40,000 Vizor for these events, and I think that's fundamentally where this myth comes from. Most people don't have the patience or willpower to save up the way they need to for these events, but that kind of seems like a personal issue and not an issue with limited units in War of the Visions. Sure, if you're impulsive or you feel like having 20,000 Vizor is a license to spend, then yeah, limited time units are probably a bad idea for you. However, if you're patient and willing to pass up 3 to 4 banners at a time, there's no reason whatsoever that you can't have your Chocobo and ride it too. If you guys watched my Final Fantasy Tactics polls video, you saw that I had nearly 40,000 Vizor going into the banner. The last thing I'll say about limited units is that there's definitely a burnout period with getting them. After pulling Agrius, I spent the entirety of the last 2 weeks with my iPad running trying to spawn Whimsy shops. However, I will note that it's much easier to max limit break these units than it was before. Pulling up my phone account again here, I maxed out Ramza on the first run of the event, and that was extremely stressful, like right up until the last day of the event. But this time around, maxing out my Agrius and Delita, I finished both with a few days to spare, so it was a lot less stressful than before, but it did still require quite a time commitment to the game. But I have to applaud Gummy in recognizing a problem and taking steps to improve the process. Limited time units, especially now with the changes to Whimsy shops and the amount of free shards you get, are more than viable for free to play with the right preparation. So keep this in mind as we approach Final Fantasy IV and the return of Final Fantasy XIV. Okay, I know that was a really long-winded take on limited time units, but I'm glad we got through it. And now I want to talk about vision cards again, and the real reason for my burnout is right here, this level 99 Scion of House Beowulf card. I've been placing top 5,000 in PvP Arena since launch, and my biggest takeaway from this is vision cards and gear are really starting to take over as the meta, more so than units are right here around the day 180 mark. Basically everybody in the top 20,000 now has a full team of level 99 ultra rares, but in the top 5,000 I've seen a lot of Warrior of Lights, Orlandus, and Killfays, sure, but I've also seen Freyevia, Stern, Giza, Medina, Ramza, Lucia, Frederica, Miranda, Kitone, and even MRs like Mustadio, Shadowlynx, Gafgarian, Salir. I've mentioned this in some previous videos, but boy did I underestimate the value of vision cards. This is really the place where pay-to-play players are separating themselves from free-to-play players, because maxed out vision cards make a huge difference at the top end of PvP and for PvE events really. You can take pretty much any unit in the game and make it viable with the right vision cards. While it's really hard to endorse chasing vision cards or vision card shards on banners as a free-to-play, anytime you're able to buy shards for your ultra rare vision cards in the shop or the Whimsy shop, just do it. The difference that a maxed Shiva or Trousseau card can make on a squad is absolutely insane. And the last thing is, make sure you budget some rainbow spheres for your vision cards too, because it's very expensive at 3 and 4 stars. It's 5 spheres at 3 stars and 10 spheres to go to 4 stars. So I'll be making a video that focuses specifically on vision cards and free to play, so be on the lookout for that as well. Okay, let's talk about a side effect of being at day 180 and all of the free pulls and stuff that they've given out in 6 months. I'm pretty much max shards on every unit and vision card in the game that is SR and below. The first takeaway is that you should pretty much never, ever run hard quests for units that are SR or below. Like, never. You're going to get enough free shards for these units just from everything they give you to max them out, and similarly, never pay Vizor for vision card shards for SR or below either. I don't think anyone ever actually does that, but just in case you were thinking about it. The second takeaway is that I've started to pile up like hundreds of medals for the Soul and Vision shops in the Mog shop. Why is this nice? Because if you scroll down here, you'll see that you'll never have to farm purple or blue job memories again. You can just pick up these job memories for 20 medals each. You can also buy yellow job memories for MR shards, but I wouldn't recommend it. The MR plus summon tickets are probably your best expenditure of these shards. So for the SR shards, make sure you don't forget to buy these guaranteed unit and vision card summon tickets in here. 90% of the time they will just summon crap for you, but more summon chances is always a good thing, especially for free to play. On my phone account, I actually pulled Killface from one of these tickets, so don't forget to buy these every month when the shop resets, because you should have plenty enough medals at about the 6-month mark. And this leads me to my last point, and I've kind of been thinking about this for a while. I think as free-to-play or a light spender, I have this theory that the actual best way to build an account would be to never pull on a banner. And this may sound crazy, but one of the most common concerns or questions with War of the Visions is this game expensive, or do I have to spend a lot of money to be competitive in the game? And I believe the answer to that is a resounding no. Even with all the problems that we've had in this game, War of the Visions is extremely generous in what it gives you for free in terms of free 10 times pulls, resources, guaranteed pulls, and so on. Something I've learned from playing this game free to play for the first 6 months, if I were to start an account today, or even for those of you who have recently started accounts maybe in the last month or two, spending Vizor on unit shards and vision card shards in the shops is much more economical than pulling on banners. I have a couple of friends who have started accounts just in the last month or two, and they have like 8 or 9 UR units and almost as many vision cards and espers as I do, and most of it's just from the free pulls that they've been handing out recently. I mean, heck, we're getting a guaranteed ultra rare summon every day for a week for the 6-month anniversary campaign, and I'm almost convinced that you could actually build a behemoth free-to-play account by pulling URs just from the free stuff they give you and only spending Vizor on unit and vision card shards and never once pulling on a banner. Or maybe you could only pull on banners when there's a guaranteed reward at the end, like step-ups or something. Now, obviously this goes completely counter to everything a gacha game like like War of the Visions stands for, but the idea that this is not only viable, but might be the best strategy as a free-to-play or light spender really says a lot about the game in terms of what the developers are doing to make it friendly for both spenders and free players alike. Anyway, that's all I have for today, and I'd really like to hear from you guys on how your accounts are doing here at the day 180 mark. How many UR units and cards do you have maxed out right now? What are some of the things that you have found rewarding or frustrating so far from the game at the 6-month mark? Again, thank you to all of our viewers for helping us hit the 2,000 subs milestone, and we'll catch you guys next time.